All right, our letter here of Pliny, our second letter to Tacitus about the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. In this one, Pliny will go into personal detail about his own experience rather than his uncle's. Um, so we'll begin. Uh, you say, ice, indirect speech, that you, this is referring to Tacitus, that you, influenced by my letters which to you asking ex agenti asking or inquiring about the death of my uncle, letters which I wrote. Anyways, you desire to coupere infinitive form because of the indirect speech. You desire cognoscere, now complementary, uh, to learn more, uh, or to learn more about not only, here we have to jump, not only the fears, truly also the misfortunes which I left behind at Messenum, another locative, which I pair to larim, a perfect subjunctive form or in indirect speech. So any relative clause has a subjunctive verb, which the fears and misfortunes I endured, I suffered. The parenthetical, indeed, um, indeed, having started, I had abruptly stopped talking or telling you about this. If you recall in the last letter, he said my mother and I, and then he trailed off. So he's going to tell him the rest of the story here from his mother and his own perspective. Anyways, although, and this is a quote from the Aeneid, although my mind shudders, meminisse to remember, in Kipiam, I will begin. Abbot of Absolute, with my uncle having set out, ipse impendi, I myself devoted the remaining time dative to my studies. Enim indeed, Adeo, for that reason, Raymond Seram, I had stayed behind. Soon a bath, then dinner, and sleep, though the sleep was restless and brief. Our next sentence here, I think we can start with the nominative tremor terrae, literally a shaking of the earth, or we can just say an earthquake. Earthquakes or shaking of the earth had proceeded for several days, less formidable or less fear-inducing because solitus here modifying tremor, because earthquakes were a common or accustomed of Campania or for Campania, the region where Mount Vesuvius is. Where truly, Illa has a macron over the A on that night. Tremor may be implied. An earthquake grew so powerful, ita, ut, result clause, that everything, omnia, uh, was believed not to be moved, but to be overturned. My mother burst into my bedroom. I was rising in turn. If she was sleeping, I was going to, future active participle, I was going to rouse her. We sat down in the courtyard of the house, which separated the sea from the houses at a moderate or modest distance.